Hey everybody, welcome back to Ted's Fish Room. It has been a while since I've been down here actually making videos for my channel, but now I have the opportunity to catch up with a lot of projects that I've actually been shooting some things on for quite a while. Namely this 265-gallon aquarium behind us, which most of this video is going to be spent talking a little bit about this one and showing the first steps I've taken to getting this one up and running. So what's been going on with me? Many of you know that I work for custom aquariums and custom cages, and like many companies during this very trying time, we've had to shutter our doors. We just got the order this morning from the governor of Wisconsin that we're shutting down. Might last 2 weeks, might last 2 months, who knows how long it's going to be, but for the time being, I have to severely curtail my hours, just like many people have done. So what am I going to do at the time? Not going out in the world so much, so I'm going to catch up with some Ted's Fish Room projects. So some of the things we've got going on. The 265-gallon aquarium, that's the one behind me, which we're going to look at a little closer later on in this video. The 180-gallon aquarium that's upstairs in the living room, that is getting a whole new filtration system. Here's a sneak peek. That filtration system is going to come out from underneath the tank upstairs and down into the basement so that I can show the filter system and how it works in much greater detail. Some of the other projects we've got going on, I'm going to get more into reptiles. Something you may not know about me, long before I got into the Ted's Fish Room, so gosh, more than 10, 12 years ago, I was really into reptiles, mostly snakes, a few lizards. Working for custom cages, and we also have the brand Vision products, has rekindled my interest in keeping some of those kind of animals. So I've actually got this really cool enclosure. It's a majestic reptile that is 4 feet tall by 3 feet wide by 18 inches front to back, and I'm going to turn that into a vivarium. I'm not exactly sure what's going to go in it. My first inclination is crested geckos, but a lot of people do crested geckos. Maybe I'll want to do something a little bit different. I've got some friends suggesting that I do night animals. Maybe I'll do those. Maybe I'll do leaf-tailed geckos, gargoyle geckos. It's going to be a good arboreal animal enclosure, so when it's all said and done. So that project is going to be ongoing as well. And I also want to get back to the Columbia series. I know that the Columbia series bores a lot of you, but I really enjoy making those videos. And at the last count, we were kind of in the second trip to Columbia, and we've now had 4 trips to Columbia. So I have quite a bit to catch up with. So we're going to start with this video today talking about this 265-gallon aquarium. And now we've got to go back in time, because I've actually had this tank since late last summer, early fall, and I started working on it. The reason it's taken so long to get set up is because the filtration system for custom aquariums has been completely re-engineered, and we are just now rolling those changes out, and it has taken a little longer than expected. So I've been waiting for the filter system, but now the filter system is here, and now I'm in a race to get this tank up and running so that I can shoot those videos for the company, but I can also get this beautiful aquarium that I've been having down here in my remodeled gallery style fish room actually up and running and have fish in it. So the first part of that project is to get the back end of this tank, because you're only looking at one small part of it. The whole tank is 60 inches long, 36 inches wide, 30 inches tall, and you're looking at it through that 60-inch length. So this is the end of the tank. So I had to cover the back side of it, and I didn't want to paint it. So let me show you how I did that. Sorry for the time warp, but this project was actually begun back in September of last year. I had fully intended to post videos a long time ago. They say that as you age, time goes faster. And at 53, I can attest that time is traveling at warp speed. The first job on this tank is to cover the 3 sides with a black vinyl cling. I've never done this to a tank before, and until it's full of water, I will not know if I like it. But that is the point. Vinyl is not permanent, but it can be a little tricky to do. What you're watching is my first miserable failure. I did not respect the vinyl. Always respect the vinyl. The idea is to cut a piece of vinyl to the length you need, peel off the back, adhere it to the glass as flat as you can, or as flat as possible anyway, and then use some kind of straight edge or scraper to remove the air bubbles from underneath the vinyl. It seemed like it would be a good idea to overlap the frame edge with the vinyl and then trim it. That did not work out so well. So in the process of trying to trim the top, I made a mistake, and I'm going to have to redo this section because this is not going to work. Too much light would get through that. You'd be able to see it in the aquarium. Luckily, I've got some room to spare. So this time I'm going to take this flat edge and I'm going to put it right up against the top edge of the tank. One of the tricks to this is not to pull it too tightly because it stretches. And when it stretches, you get these weird bubbles. That's where one of the holes is. I'll leave that alone. The other trick is just to be patient. You don't need a lot of pressure. Get a wrinkle that's hard to get out, you just kind of put some slack on it and rub it out. While the vinyl is going on to the outside of the tank, it looks like crap when you look at it through the inside of the tank. I'm told that it looks fine with water and aquarium lighting. I'm not actually convinced of that. We'll see. So you may ask, why am I not painting this tank? A couple reasons. One, I may actually want to turn this tank in a different direction someday and actually look at it through the wide pane of the tank. This one's being set up so you look at it through that far end over there. And the front of this tank is actually, or the long edge over here, is actually ultra clear glass. So I would have to paint that glass black because I'm going to put this black paper all the way around the tank on the back side here, just not the window you're looking through up front. So I may want to look through the tank in a different angle someday. And taking paint off a tank is really challenging. The other reason is that glass is porous. And I learned the hard way after trying to remove paint from a tank that if you can scrape it all off, it all looks really good. But then when you try to take photographs through it, you'll see that there's actually little micro pieces of paint stuck in the glass. So if you ever want to use that tank for photography, you don't ever want it having to have been painted. I figured out that applying the vinyl works better when you start at the top with the edge even with the bottom of the frame and then work the scraping to the bottom and to the sides. Try not to pull too much on the vinyl. You do end up with a lot of wrinkles this way, but there's some other tricks for getting those wrinkles out. There's going to be an overlap at the bottom to trim, but hopefully after you trim it, if there is a light gap, you'll be able to cover that with substrate inside the tank. I also figured out that it works best to use the scraper as a straight edge and use a fresh, very sharp blade to cut the vinyl. Once the vinyl is 99.9% attached to the glass, all that is left is to scrape down the remaining bubbles. Here is what I ended up with. 3 sides completely covered in black vinyl on the back side. When the tank is complete, there will be molding around the sides from the front. Hopefully it will look totally black when it's full of water and the aquarium lights are on it. So I got the vinyl wrap onto the tank. I'm mostly happy with it. I will be happier with it once I get water in the tank and I get the lighting set up on this aquarium the way I want it. The next video in this series is going to be another time warp where I go and show you how I installed that Universal Rocks background that you see in there and what I had to do to get that ready to go. It was pretty easy to do. I'm pretty happy with it. I love the way it looks, especially when you get the rest of the driftwood in here. You can actually get a glimpse of that if you go to my Instagram account, TedsFishroom on Instagram. Go back a few months and you're going to see some video clips and some photos of this tank with all the hardscape in it except for the substrate in the bottom. We know every time you pull hardscape out, you put hardscape back in, it changes a little bit, but I think you'll get a better idea of where I'm going to go for this tank. If you're not following me on Instagram, please do, because I post there a lot more frequently than I post on the YouTube channel. I'm hoping to remedy that. I'm hoping to get a video up at least once a week. During this furlough, maybe even twice a week. I don't have anything else to do except walk the dog, clean the house, and cook for the family. So hopefully, I'm going to get back into the habit of producing a lot more videos for Ted's Fish Room. So if you want to see more content coming in, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that bell so you get a notification when a new video comes up. And I'll see you next time.